Hello and welcome back to the channel, and this is the 2021 MLS playoff predictions. I'd like to apologize in advance, I got a bit of a cold. I'll try not to cough through the video, but no promises. But anyways, you know the drill. I make predictions, I get them 100% right all the time because I'm the greatest. And without any further ado, let's get straight into the video. Now starting off, we have Minnesota versus Portland, and simply put, you have to go all the way back to 2018. Yes, 2018 for the last time Minnesota didn't beat Portland. Plus, the last 2 years, Portland have been knocked out in the first round, and honestly, I don't see any difference here. Minnesota should be able to take control of this game and should be able to beat Portland. Now, moving on here, we have Vancouver versus Kansas City, and call me an idiot, but I think Vancouver are going to upset them. Vancouver are hot. They've only lost one game in their last 10 in the MLS, and Kansas are in bad form, finishing their season losing their last 3 games. And Vancouver beat Kansas their last meeting, so call me crazy, but I'm going to put Vancouver to upset Kansas in this one. Now, moving on here, we have the Seattle Sounders versus Real Salt Lake, and Salt Lake have a weak defense, and this is Seattle Sounders. They should be able to exploit that weak defense, and again, this is Seattle. They always get it done in the playoffs, and so they should be able to get past Real Salt Lake and move on here. Now, moving over to the East, we have the New York City FC versus Atlanta United. A very tight game, I'll be honest. But New York, they're really good at home. They're strong at home, and Atlanta had a pretty shocking away record this season. Don't be surprised, this will likely go to extra time. But New York should be able to take this one, especially being at home. Now we have Nashville versus Orlando. This one will go to extra time because the last 3 meetings between these two teams have all been draws, all ties in 90 minutes. And so this will definitely go to extra time, and Nashville's defense will just dig in, and they'll likely win on penalties or maybe a late set piece goal or something. But I'm going to have to put Nashville over Orlando in that one. Now, moving on, we have Philadelphia versus the New York Red Bulls. Philadelphia's at home. In my opinion, they're just all around better from keeper to striker, and they should be able to take this one. Being at home, Red Bulls, they just got into the playoffs, and I think Philadelphia should be able to dispatch them and take this one decently easy. Now, going back to the West, we have Colorado versus Minnesota. Colorado are unbeaten in their last 3 meetings versus Minnesota, and they're at home as well. They're a great team, top the West, and I think although Minnesota are a good team, and don't be surprised if there's an upset on Colorado by Minnesota, but I'm going to go with what I'm thinking, and Colorado are going to take this one. Now, moving on, we have Seattle versus Vancouver, and it's been years since Vancouver beat Seattle. Plus, again, this is playoff Seattle. Seattle Sounders, they should be able to beat Vancouver relative ease. If there's an upset, I'll be very surprised. I think Seattle, this might be one of their easiest games in the playoffs this year. Now, moving back to the East, we have the New England Revolution versus New York. And I'm thinking, New England are really good. This is going to be a tough game, though. But, New England just got too much firepower. I think this is going to be a shootout, and New England easily can outshoot New York, although an upset could be on the cards. I think the best team in MLS, 73 points record-breaking, New England Revolution will be able to take out New York in this game. Now, moving on, we have Philadelphia versus Nashville. And there's hardly anything to separate these two teams. Exact same points at the end of the regular season, and it's probably going to be a very physical and grindy game. But I think Nashville they'll probably pull this off. They'll probably win it off maybe a set piece or something, a grindy 1-0, maybe 2-1, I don't know, but yeah, I think Nashville will be able to outdo Philadelphia in this one. Now, moving over for the conference finals in the West, we have Seattle versus Colorado. This is an interesting one because 2 very, very strong teams. In the regular season, Seattle was unbeaten against Colorado, but there was 2 draws in that. This is a very tough one to call, but I don't think Colorado will be able to break through Seattle's defense. Seattle Sounders have a strong defense, and I don't think that their own firepower will be able to get through it. And I think Seattle will be able to grind this one out and win this maybe 1-0 maybe 2-0, depending on how the game goes. So I'm going to put Seattle over Colorado to make it to a third consecutive MLS Cup final or something like that. Yeah, they've been doing too good lately. Now, moving back to the West in the East, the East in the Eastern Conference Final, we have the New England Revolution versus Nashville Sc. And this is a tough one again. Not two very good teams. Nashville defensively excellent, and New England just score goals for fun, man. Like nobody's business they're scoring goals. But New England's offensive threat, it'll be too much for Nashville. Plus, they're in the cold. They're in Foxborough. They're in Gillette Stadium. The cold up north, and Tennessee's kind of southern. It's a lot more southern than the New England area is, and so there's just too many advantages for New England in this game. Although Nashville easily could beat them, well, not easily, but they definitely have the capabilities to beat them. It's just going to be too much for them. So much against them in this game, and New England's going to be able to take this one and go on to the final. Now, here is the final: New England Revolution versus the Seattle Sounders. Two of the best teams in the MLS. Very good teams last year, finalists and semifinalists respectively, and second and first in their conferences. New England Revolution, obviously they won the Supporters' Shield, record-breaking 73 points. One of the best offenses I've seen in MLS history. And yeah, this is going to be a very, very tough match. And I see this going either two ways. Only two ways I see this going. Either New England, they can just put it to Seattle. They just put so much pressure on them, and Seattle crumbled, just like they did against Columbus last year. They just won't be able to handle this much intensity from this, and they'll be able to break through. Players like Buchanan will be able to cause havoc on the wing, just like Zellerean did last year, and they'll be able to break through and win this game. If New England are going to win this, they're going to win it 3-4-0. I don't see them winning this by a close margin because Seattle are just too good when it comes to the clutch moments. So I think if New England want to win this, they're going to win it by a lot of goals. But the other way I see it is that Seattle, they'll just dig in. They'll weather the storm. They weathered the storm in 2017. They weathered the storm in 2019. Not 2017, 2016 and 2019. And they can just weather the storm and they just park the bus. And they can strike on the counterattack. You can get some goals on the counterattack, and they can just be defensively unbelievable like they have been in several MLS Cup finals. They don't need possession. They just need to be able to counterattack. And I don't know. This could go either way, like I said, but I think Seattle would have learned from last year and not make the same mistakes of last year, and they'll be able to win this game. I'm thinking 1-0, maybe 2-0, or they could win this in penalties. If it goes to penalties, I have no clue who's going to win this, but I'm going to predict Seattle Sounders to win this one, 1 or 2-0. And so they'll be the MLS Cup champions for the third time. They'll probably be outplayed again, but Seattle Sounders, they just got a way to make things work. So anyways, Seattle Sounders, champions of the MLS. Those were my 2021 MLS playoff predictions. How many did I get right? Absolutely all of them. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down in the comments. Potato down below. And as always, I'll see ya.